Hey everyone, and welcome to another deep dive. This time we're taking a look at Faust.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, but we're going beyond the usual interpretations.
Okay. Where are we going with this?
Well, we're diving deep into Faust's character through the lens of the Enneagram,
Yeah.
the personality typing system.
Right, of course.
Yeah.
And which type are we looking at with Faust?
We're focusing on the social five.
Ah, the knowledge seeker.
Exactly. Always digging deeper, preferring in-depth conversations to small talk, and that burning desire to make a real difference in the world. I bet a lot of you listening can relate to that. So much of Faust's journey might resonate with you.
Amazing how even fictional characters, can reflect our own internal struggles.
Right.
And Faust, well, everybody knows him as this brilliant scholar, but underneath it all, he's constantly grappling with this feeling of emptiness, this incompleteness.
It's like he's always searching for something more.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He has this insatiable thirst for knowledge. It's almost like an obsession.
Yeah, and that thirst, that's what leads him to make that infamous pact with the devil.
Right, Mephistopheles.
So essentially we have this central dilemma, head versus heart.
His head is just overflowing with this need to know, but then there's his heart longing for that genuine human connection.
You almost get the sense that he's stuck in this tug of war between wanting to unlock the universe's secrets and at the same time just wanting to experience the simple joys of being human.
Precisely. And that's where the social five lens really helps us understand his struggle.
So how does the social five connect to all of this?
Well, think about Faust's isolation.
Oh, yeah, he's always holed up in his study.
Exactly. He's happiest surrounded by his books.
Definitely prefers deep thinking over, parties and
It's a
socializing.
classic social five trait.
But it's not that he doesn't want connection.
But it's more that the pursuit of knowledge, it always takes center stage.
I mean, think about it. Does Faust even view the pact with the devil as a bad thing?
That's a good question.
He doesn't make the pact for wealth or power. It's all for knowledge, for ultimate understanding.
It's almost like a logical next step for someone so consumed by the need to know.
It makes you think about how, for a social five, knowledge itself can become this all-consuming force.
Some Enneagram experts even call it a totem.
A totem.
It gives a sense of purpose, a sense of belonging. It's almost like a shield against all the uncertainty in the world.
So for Faust, it's not just facts and figures. Knowledge is his anchor, his way of making sense of everything around him.
Exactly.
Which leads us to his relationship with Gretchen.
Ah, yes.
Because this intense focus on his totem, right?
Yeah.
It can make it really difficult for social fives to connect deeply with others, on an emotional level.
It's true.
Like they put knowledge first, sometimes even at the cost of real intimacy, vulnerability.
It's this double-edged sword. On one hand, knowledge brings clarity and purpose, but on the other, it can lead to isolation.
As a social five, have you ever felt that pull? Being drawn to the world of ideas, but also kind of scared of getting lost in them?
Oh, it's definitely a common struggle for us social fives. And with Faust, it plays out tragically in his relationship with Gretchen.
Yeah. He's clearly drawn to her, cares about her deeply, but that need for knowledge, it often overshadows his ability to just be present with her, to
Yeah.
connect emotionally.
You can see the love is there,
You really can.
but it's almost as if he's speaking a different language, one that Gretchen just doesn't understand.
This yearning to connect, battling with the comfort found in knowledge, it's a fundamental paradox for the social five, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. And it's this paradox that's key to understanding Faust's choices and ultimately his entire journey, especially in the second part of the play.
Which, luckily for us, we'll be diving into next time. I can't wait to see where Faust's journey takes us and how his totem might change along the way.
It's going to be fascinating.
Stay tuned, everyone. We'll be back soon to continue this deep dive.
Welcome back to our Faust Deep Dive.
I'm ready to go deeper.
Last time, we were talking about that core social five struggle, right? Knowledge can be so comforting, but it can also isolate you.
Yeah, and with Faust, we saw how his totem, that relentless drive for knowledge, really impacted his relationship with Gretchen. But in part 2 of the play, our source suggests that Faust's totem, it starts to shift.
His relationship with knowledge itself evolves.
Interesting. How so?
Well, in this part of Faust's story, his focus becomes more outward. Less about him personally gaining knowledge and more about using what he knows to really impact the world.
He gets ambitious.
Very ambitious. He starts these huge projects, like reshaping the landscape. I mean, literally building new lands from the sea.
Wow, that's some serious ambition. It's not just theoretical ideas anymore. He's leaving a physical mark on the world. Like he's trying to create something that will outlast him.
And that speaks to a really important desire within the social five to contribute to something bigger than themselves.
I can see that. So for some, it might be through teaching or activism research. But for Faust, it's these grand acts of creation.
Exactly.
Almost godlike, wouldn't you say?
It is pretty epic in scope, but it makes you wonder, is there a danger there? Because Faust is dealing with some pretty powerful forces.
Literally and metaphorically.
This is where it gets really interesting. Because for the social five, there's this underlying fear of not having enough to give, of being overwhelmed by everything the world demands.
It's like that classic saying, knowledge is power. But it can also be a burden.
Absolutely.
The more you know, the more you realize you don't know.
Yeah.
And that responsibility can be heavy.
And we see that weight on Faust. He has moments of doubt. He struggles to connect with the people he's trying to help. You know, even as he's trying to do good, there's this tension between his desire to contribute and this fear of failing to do enough.
It's like the social five in a nutshell.
Right. We're not just these detached intellectuals.
Right.
We want to connect, we want to make a difference, but there's that vulnerability, the self-doubt.
Faust's journey really shows that. He pushes the limits of his knowledge, trying to leave a positive mark, but at the same time, he's wrestling with his human flaws.
It's that constant balancing act.
And it leads us to the big question. Does he find that balance? Does he reconcile his big ambitions with his, well, with being human?
We'll have to explore that in our final part.
Welcome back, everyone. We're wrapping up our deep dive into Faust as a social five. It's been pretty intense, huh? We've seen how much his need for knowledge drives him, his choices, relationships, even that deal with the devil. But things start changing in part two.
Right. He turns outward, focusing on the world. These huge plans to change everything leave a real impact. Very social five, wouldn't you say?
Totally. And I think a lot of social fives listening, they'll connect with this part of Faust, that urge to use what you know to make things better, create something lasting.
It's almost like knowledge can be a double-edged sword. It empowers you, fuels your creativity, that drive to make a difference. But it can also be overwhelming, even scary. Like, can you ever know enough to solve the world's problems? Exactly. And Faust, he definitely wrestles with that. Incredible vision, but he makes mistakes too. Setbacks. He doubts himself, feels the pressure. It's a reminder that even with all the knowledge, we're still human. We make mistakes.
That's what makes him so interesting, though, right? He's not perfect, not all-knowing. He messes up, he struggles, questions himself, makes him way more relatable, even if we haven't made deals with the devil.
Exactly. And for our social five listeners out there, it's okay to have doubts. Those feelings of not being enough, it's part of the process. Keep trying, keep learning, keep using your knowledge to do good, even in small ways.
So, final thoughts on Faust. Does he find that balance? Knowledge versus being human?
That's what's great about Goethe. No easy answers.
Yeah.
It's complex, messy, full of contradictions, just like life. But there's hope in the ending. He doesn't reach perfection, but he keeps pushing, keeps learning, always testing the limits of what's possible.
And isn't that what being a social five is all about? That constant search for knowledge, that desire to make a difference even when you're unsure. It's realizing that knowledge is a journey, not the destination.
Beautifully said. So to our listeners, embrace your curiosity, that thirst for knowledge. Dive deep, explore those big ideas. But connect with your human side too, your emotions, the people around you. Find that balance between thinking and feeling. Then you'll be on your way to a fulfilling life, just like Faust is trying to do.
That's a perfect way to end this. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Faust and the social five. Hopefully you learned something new along the way.
It was great being here. Until next time.
And to our listener, keep searching, keep growing, and keep diving deep. This has been your personalized deep dive. We'll catch you on the next one.